Are Christians, and I am referring to Gentile believers, are they now part of Israel? It's written in Galatians 3:7, "Therefore be sure that it is those who are of faith who are sons of Abraham." Well, since I am of faith, that means that I am a son of Abraham. Does that mean that I am considered the new Israel, the true Israel? And is this a faulty deduction? Thank you.
This is indeed a very faulty deduction, for not even the all physical sons of Abraham are considered Jews. Let's remember that some are Ishmaelites, who are Ishmaelites. Others are the Amalekites, who are descendant of the Edomites, who turned out to be the emblem of anti-Semitism, and very often they were the first one to attack Israel throughout the history of the scriptures. There is then a difference between being a spiritual son of Abraham by faith and a physical son of Abraham, who are the Jewish people. And this is Paul's argument in Galatians chapter 3. Let us read the preceding verse, which will put us in the context of Galatians 3, verses 6 and 7. It says, "Just as Abraham believed God and was accounted to him for righteousness, therefore know that only those who are of faith are sons of Abraham." Why does Paul begin with Abraham when speaking of faith? He could have begun his argument with Adam or with Noah, for salvation was always by faith from the very beginning. However, he starts with Abraham because at the time some Judaizers were trying to convince the Galatians Gentiles to convert to Pharisaic Judaism by obeying the Mosaic law, or their interpretation of the Mosaic law, and thus becoming sons of Abraham. However, Paul reminds them that Abraham was saved 430 years before the law was given. And being a son of Abraham then and today means that one has the faith, the saving faith that Abraham displayed, and it is unrelated with the physical descendants. Paul further emphasized that being sons of Abraham does not require conversion into rabbinical Judaism. Here and in many other letters he wrote. So we read in verse 7 that the true sons of Abraham are those who have faith in Yeshua, both Jews and Gentiles. Today many have interpreted the words in verse 7. "Therefore know that only those who are of faith are sons of Abraham," in many ways like these first centuries Judaizers, that once a Gentile becomes a believer, he becomes Israel. He becomes a Jew. They believe that the church is now Israel and that all believers are now called Jews. These also do not get their history right. And this belief, I want to tell you, has caused many problems to the Jewish people throughout the last 2,000 years. Because this belief is a product of an anti-Jewish bias, even anti-Semitism, and it is very rampant even today. It is disguised under the doctrines of amillennialism or postmillennialism, a Catholic doctrine that is now being adopted by more and more evangelical churches, and especially here in our province of Quebec. I will end with the biblical definition of a Jew. Today, the people or the nation that came forth from Abraham is called the Jewish nation or the Jewish people. A very simple but biblical definition as to who or what is a Jew is as follows. A Jew is a descendant of Abraham, Isaac, or Jacob, and all such descendants are Jews. It is important to remember that it is not only of Abraham that the Ishmaelites and other nations also came from him, yet they are not considered Jews, nor did they ever consider themselves as Jews. Likewise, it is not only through Isaac, for the Edomites, the Amalekites, and other nations came through him, but only through Jacob, through whom came the 12 tribes of Israel, and which constitute the Jewish nation today. Thus, the son of Abraham today is, as it is written here, is one of faith, but nothing to do with the physical part. And on that last note, I would like to add this point. The blessings of the land, promise given to Abraham and confirmed through the Davidic covenant, are given to the physical Jewish descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This, of course, is an important tangent. There's an important tangent that is to this question, which we can address at other times.